matchup driven, or is that something you guys want to take a look at long term?
No, probably right now with where we're at long term. I think I mentioned to you guys before that, I think because of the limit on his minutes, at least coming off the wrist surgery and wanting to keep him kind of below 30 minutes, I just felt like, if we can get him in the game at 6 minutes, it makes it a 42-minute game instead of 48 if we wanted to play him down the stretch. So he's been able to play now more minutes. So really had nothing to do, at all with Io. I mean, I think Io was done for Lonzo being out. I think I mentioned this with Lonzo and Alex being out. If you would have told us, back in training camp that Io was going to be our starting point guard, I don't know if anybody would know what that would look like. And he has been incredible. Yeah, but there's also I've also asked a lot of him in a lot of ways, and he's handled everything in terms of trying to run the team, and it's a lot to handle back there. He's done a great job. I just felt like since Alex kind of had his legs under him a little bit, I thought just starting off with that group defensively could give us a little bit better, energy, so to speak, and bring in Io off the bench and bring his energy into the game as well. So that was it. It was just, and I think it's something we'll probably continue to look at going forward.
Sorry, it wasn't just Alex, but how important was it to not only win tonight, but to kind of regain your identity, 29 points off turnovers, and kind of get back to the style you're using earlier in the season?
That's the biggest thing to me. I think that, part of this stretch coming out of the All-Star break, that I felt like if we didn't get better and improve, I think I mentioned wasn't going to be good enough. There was times in all those games, whether in Sacramento or Utah, we had moments played really, really good basketball, but it's just not sustained for a long enough period of time. And, we have these moments and these lapses that really would kind of, they'd hurt us. And I thought tonight, from start to finish, to your point, we played to an identity. I thought the ball movement was really good. I thought we got downhill. We sprayed it. They're obviously a very, very long athletic team, cover a lot of ground. And I thought we tried to help each other defensively, and we were active, and, we were able to get out in transition. And that's what we got to do. But there's a lot of work that goes into that. I thought the leadership of, Zach and Vooch, and DeMar and even Alex, that those guys, just the messaging and the timeouts was good. And I think when you're playing against good teams on a constant basis, like really good teams, I think you learn, from those experiences, and it helps you get better.
What did you think of Pat and how he looked in his return?
I actually thought, he looked really good. He actually, I thought, had a couple of great moves along the baseline. He got to the rim. He knocked down a three, which was fine, but I thought he moved very well. That was my biggest thing, is I just didn't know how he would look moving just in an NBA game. He was moving. I think I mentioned to you guys before the game, he was moving really well, the G League thing, but you start talking about guarding different kind of players up here. And I thought he looked really, really good. And I'm just happy for him. It's really been a unique 2 years for him, just coming in during COVID last year, his rookie year, with all he had to endure for that. And then, spraining his ankle, missing part of training camp, then getting back, then breaking his wrist. He's had a lot. And, you always worry about a young player, how it's going to impact his development. And I think as much as he could, without really being able to put a basketball in his hands, he worked really, really hard to get himself physically ready to come back to play.
In that last 5 minutes of the third quarter, Zach seemed like I don't know if he was picking his spots or nothing, but you saw what he could do. I think he scored like 14 of 18 down there.
Yeah, I mean, we need him to be aggressive. We need him to play downhill. We need him to take his shots when they're there. The thing I love about Zach is, the one thing people will look at the points, but he generated a lot of offense for us. He made great passes. I thought he really played a really great all-around game besides making the shots and scoring. I thought he was really battling defensively. I thought he generated a lot of open looks for a lot of different guys. And, I've always said this about Zach, he wants to make the right basketball play for the team.
And then, like you said, you want him to also be aggressive at times. So it seemed like he kind of felt like that was his moment, right?
Yeah, no, and I think he was aggressive. He did get downhill, and when he got to the rim, he went, and when he had open shots, he took them. And then when they came with a couple people at him, he found open people. I thought he really, made good decisions throughout the course of the game.
You just mentioned what Pat can learn off the floor. He told us this morning that you told him he could be 10 times better just learning from film and talking, soaking up things. What are you hoping that he learns? learned while he was out and continues to learn.
I just think that for these young players, the film study is so critical, and how you watch film and what you're actually looking for, in terms of tendencies and things like that. And, I think that for Patrick going through the year he went through last year as a rookie, I think there is a great opportunity because of the hand he's dealt, not being able to play, that to be able to sit back and watch and have maybe a different perspective now after being a year in the league. Can he get better mentally? And I thought that was the goal for the last 5 months, is to try to help him get better mentally, in terms of understanding the NBA game, understanding tendencies, personnel, different things that are going on. And, it was interesting talking to him over the last 5 months. You could see he's picking up different things and talking about different things that maybe a year ago he would not have picked up, which has been great. And he didn't obviously have the pressure of game after game after game, but he could kind of take a step back and watch. So I'm hopeful it was helpful for him, because he's such a great guy. And I think guys like him that are young, that are always trying to find ways to get better, it's kind of limited, because he wasn't really able to do a lot the first couple months with his hand, because he had to he pretty much had to keep it stabilized. So there was, the only other thing he could really do was watch film, watch practice, and listen to scouting reports, game preparation, watch film with different coaches, with different players, and just try to learn as much as he could.
You raved about your wife's cookies. How good are they? And what are your favorites?
I'm a chocolate chip guy. So I don't know. I think she made him some brownies or something like that. So she felt bad for him that, obviously the injury and him being out as long as he was going to be out. Because at that time when the injury happened, we didn't even know if he'd be able to get back. This year, there was still a lot of question marks of how it heals. There was a lot of things he had to go through to ensure that he could even play in a game like today. So I'm happy that he could be back, because it was a long road for him.
And one more about the depth. Is the hope that as you bump guys down in the rotation, that they're going to be able to contribute in the ways that they've learned and the opportunities, or is there concern that they could have trouble replicating some of the success that they've had because they've got more limited minutes?
I'm not sure I quite understand. You're talking about the guys that were maybe in a primary role with all the injuries and now going back to a secondary role?
Is the hope that they will be able to carry that over, or is there concern that they could have a hard time replicating it because of limited minutes now?
Yeah, no, I think that hopefully it's really, really helped them. And the one thing I've always really enjoyed about this group is they've always put the team first, and I really, really love that about the group. And, I think they all understand, as Patrick came back and Alex came back, and, if we're fortunate, in the future here to get, Lonzo back at some point, they understand, that was our team with a full roster. So we kind of understood that going into the season, just didn't pan out that way. I think for a guy like Ayo, who, got an enormous amount of opportunity for a lot of games, to start and play 35, 36, 37 minutes. And, I probably played him 20 minutes. Like I said, I mean, I can't believe how much he's endured and how well he has done as a rookie. And really, if you think about it, when he was coming off the bench for us, he was really off the ball. And all of a sudden we're playing him at the point. I mean, it speaks to, I think, how much room he has a chance to grow. And I think the same thing could be said for Kobe. He's got the shoulder surgery, he's got the COVID, he gets back, he's trying to find his rhythm, and then he's kind of in and out. But those guys have stepped up. I think they can provide a lot of energy off the bench. Even Patrick, just those three younger guys, I think can be really, really good for us. And they've gained some valuable experience, over their time here that I think can help us.
I was going to ask you about that. The beyond Alex being able to play more minutes, now you have a little more veteran presence in the starting lineup. And you have the three young guys playing together in the second unit. Did you like how those lineups panned out?
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I just felt like I took Vooch out a little bit earlier last game, just to see what that was like, to kind of maybe give some more shooting in that second unit and a little bit more spacing, and then another playmaker to go along with DeMar. But I think in that second unit, if it's Tristan and DeMar, two veteran guys out there, Ayo, Kobe, and Patrick, I think we got some guys that can defend. Kobe obviously shoots, is very good offensively. I think you got two older guys, veteran guys out there with that group. I mean, that's what it looked like. I mean, I liked the way they played. I thought Ayo and Kobe's aggressiveness tonight was really good. I liked the way they pushed the ball in that second unit. I think at times, it helped DeMar where, he kind of was in it and he was out. He obviously got on a little bit of run there, DeMar, in that fourth quarter to start it with that second unit. But I think all those guys can complement each other. It's just a matter of, none of these guys really have played together. I mean, Patrick, Io, Kobe, DeMar, and Tristan, they haven't played together. So we'll have some growing pains in some of those things, but they're good guys. And I think they want to, the team, like I said, is important to them. They want to win. So we'll have to figure things out. But I think anytime you're, adding guys to the mix, it always takes a little bit of time to figure those things out.
Billy, just one more about Patrick. Obviously, having missed as much time as he has, you're not looking at him to go out there and score 30 points or whatever. But the fact that he took 8 shots in 19 minutes, and he wasn't hunting shots, but that he took the right shots for a guy that, last season we would sometimes ask you, like, should he be taking more shots? Is that an encouraging sign in his first game that he took the right shots?
I think the hardest thing for a young player is, when do I shoot? When do I pass? It's the hardest thing, and I think he read, to your point, situations really well tonight. He took his pull-up when it was there. He took the corner 3 when it was there. He had a chance to rip through and finish that drive there. That's what you really want to do. That's I think the learning curve for a young player. And I'm hopeful, the fact that he had last year to play a lot, and then this year he had to watch a lot of film. I'm hoping in some way a lot of this stuff's connecting for him. But I do agree with you. There was, like last year, there was tons of opportunity for him to be more aggressive. He's first and foremost, a defer, unselfish kind of guy, but he's got to understand that we need him to do some of those things. And I think he's understanding his spots a little bit better.